Hey everybody, this is Grace. In this video, I'm going to talk about topics concerning narcissistic abuse, dealing with toxic people, something along this line. None of it is a diagnose, and one size doesn't fit all as it is. So, I'm going to get started. Like I said, it's going to be more than one topic concerning these. Okay. But one of them is that one of the things I have noticed over time is that some people, when they're dealing with somebody or they're married to somebody, a parent in their house, whatever it is, that they want to find out information about this, but they basically have to search for it in silence or, sneaky. Because with that person, that narcissistic or toxic person, whatever it is, the behaviors, they will keep them away from knowledge. They will say things as far as going and saying that all these professionals like psychologists, counselors, therapists, that they're all something along the line, or any kind of professional, they'll say they're quacks. They don't really know what they're talking about. They'll try some way to get their target not to believe in this kind of thing. And they'll try to isolate them from, like, say, if you have friends who are really smart and really knowledgeable, they know a lot in this field, or whatever field they will say that they don't know, or they'll say you don't fit in with them, you shouldn't be friends with them because you're embarrassing yourself being friends with them, somehow to get you to where you don't get the knowledge that you need. Okay, and they'll do all kinds of what we used to just call mind games. Some people will just call all that gaslighting these days, many days, many years. But yeah, they'll do anything to twist your mind to where, anything that you find that seems, what you need, what is really, comes from somebody who's, say, intelligent or educated, like I said in this field, knowledgeable, they'll twist it. And some of them will even say they know more than the professionals, and along this line. So they try, like I said, any kind of manipulation to keep you from learning what you want, like in some cases, how to get away from them, how to leave them. You're doing it in silence. You're not doing it to where, they would know. At some point you see, oh my goodness, they're going to, they might even make threats. Okay, try to get you to lose your job, whatever, if they find out. That's what some people might go through. Okay, so I have stacks and stacks of notes I've taken about topics concerning these, and I want to get through some of them. Like on the one with mind games, I wrote a little note, comment that a little bit of information can be a dangerous thing, but sometimes dealing with them, letting them know what you know can be a dangerous thing for some people, not everybody, of course. Okay, to move on to some other parts of my notes, I'm going to try just to do some highlights of them, because I'll never get through this, and that's my goal, is to finally get through all these. I've done them, like I say, over years, or a year, I don't know. But as far as that part of, like, the narcissist telling you, like, you have, smart people, educated people, whatever, as friends in your social circle, they'll say that, might be as bad as saying that you just don't fit in with them, you're making a fool of yourself, along this line. Well, the thing about it is, my experience, and that doesn't mean to everybody's, but mine with this type of person, toxic people, narcissistic people with narcissistic behaviors, histrionic behaviors, is you're never going to, nobody else and yourself will see you as that narcissist does, that toxic person does, because they're always going to see you as bad in everything, that where you get some sense of accomplishment or you feel good about yourself, they're going to try to knock that down. Okay. And to them, you're just always wrong. You're at fault. You're always wrong. You didn't do that you claim that you did, even though you did. You earned something, a certification or a degree or whatever. they're not going to see that. But at first, if it's not somebody like family, but if it's a romantic partner, say, and at first, they're going to do what some people call love bombing. They're just going to say that everything is wonderful about you. They might even take up the same hobbies as you, say that those are their hobbies, sports, whatever. But when their true colors start to come through, all that changes. It just becomes to where everything that you are interested in, everything you do, is somehow bad. Maybe you just like, here's an example. You might like to read romance novels, something to chill you out, or just, you're young and you want to read. You don't need to be young to want to read romance novels. I like historical romance novels. I like anything that's historical, like Murdoch mysteries. I think I call it Murdoch murders before, but that's what they all are. It's all about, so far. But yeah, that's dated back in the 1800s or even before. Now you might enjoy that because you're learning a little bit of history along with it, or you're learning something about relationships. And a lot of these just plain romance novels will have someone in it who's narcissistic. Seriously, they will. They usually do these days. But you're learning something, but that other person will say, that they'll just down everything that like that kind of interest, and say, that's for children, or that's for people who don't have a life, something to down what you like. And it doesn't always have to be about, none of this is one size fits all, but it doesn't always have to be about that they're trying to take away from your interest. It could be that because they're really not interested in it, they were only doing that, let's say to love bomb you, and they're really not interested in it, and because you're still interested in it, they feel like it's a bit of a, could be like an insult to them, that they're no longer interested, or never really were, but if you say something, they might see it as an insult. And with them, they never get past that feeling of it being an insult. No matter what you say, they will hold that. They will hold it as a grudge against you. And it's not just narcissistic people. Like I say, none of this is just narcissistic people. But they will hold it and keep it, and you will hear that broken record for the rest of your life with them. That they'll bring that back up at any time, and find some way to twist it, of course, to where that you're at fault. Yeah. I said, no matter how you try to make up for it, or you're finding yourself apologizing for something that maybe you didn't even do. They had lied to you from the start, saying that they were interested in that, and you see what I'm saying? And they just, they don't want to discuss it. They just want you to hear what they have to say, and that you're all wrong. It's always going to be bad things coming from them because they still feel that. And my experience is that they have something else going on, that somebody like a boss or somebody that they appreciate that person's view, a boss, say, and the boss has made an insult along the same kind of line. So, they probably lied to the boss about their interest too, and yeah. But they're going to turn it around and take it on, displace it onto you. Okay, moving on to another note. I have here something about that their excessive need for admiration, for, positive feedback, for everything to be good about them. They don't want to see that about you, some of them, of course. But they get so, the first time I ever saw that myself, that somebody with such a high need for this, for people to admire everything, it was a man, everything he did, it was kind of shocking to me to see it so blatant, it was so high. Use a simplified word. It was just a high, like a high sense of entitlement. But yeah, it was just that need for somebody to, anybody, everybody, to say something good about his cooking. Okay, his cooking skills, which weren't all that great, but in some ways not. But he needed it, and he would get very angry if he didn't receive what he expected, that entitlement, for people to say about his cooking. And he would get so extremely angry. And this is a guy that, he turned stalker on me. That's a whole separate video. But years ago, and he really was all these things that I have seen under even a psychopath, behaviors. Yeah, pretty bad. Moving on again, I had written down something about gaslighting, an experience I had years and years ago. And it was a woman who worked at a post office. She was a postal employee in, I think, Arizona. And I'll make it brief, she had my zip code. And she knew it. And she asked me how was the weather in East Texas. And I said, I don't know, because I don't live in East Texas. I live in North Central Texas. And she came back. No, she knows, because she works at the post office, that my zip code is one in East Texas. I said, well, that's funny, because, And she was the type that had to be right. She had to always be right. And some would say, well, what she was really doing was gaslighting me. Now, to me, she just was the type that had to be right, and when she was very wrong, she's trying to tell me where I live, based on my zip code. No, I live in North Central Texas. So, but she was determined, no, you live in East Texas. Well, that was the end of that discussion. Seriously, that was it. Okay. Here's another one another note I wrote that'll probably go along with this. Is that, like that example of the postal worker telling me what part of Texas I live in based on she didn't look it up, she just stated it, like she knows everything. And that type of person, this might go along with it. Yeah, that example is that when people think that you are dense, you are, not very smart, you can't figure things out, they have to tell you things when, no, you don't. Like, somebody doesn't need to tell me that where I live, or that's just a kind of an example. Just people telling you something that you already know, that they assume that you don't know, and they will tell you. What if, by any chance, you're not going to assume that they do or don't know, so you're just letting them try to figure it out themselves. You're not wanting to, insult them, but they don't have any problem insulting you by acting as though you're that dense. And for some of them, it's a mindset. It's a way that they just think about everybody, that their view is, their whole world view, their knowledge, experience, everything is better, than anybody else. And even if you did know something, and you said, well, you don't need to tell me that I already know, know about that, they're still going to, because they feel that they are superior to that. Like this woman telling me I lived in East Texas when I live in North Central Texas. Still, there's that sense of superiority. Their knowledge is always better. They know more than everybody else. And like I said, this is not one size fits all in any of this. Some of my own notes I don't get. Like I wrote one that says, out of sight, out of mind. It says, don't watch them. Don't know why I wrote that. Then it will take them a while to figure it out, since they are so vain. They continue to try, maybe wants to be superior, need you to know it. Sometimes my own notes don't make any sense to me. Where was I going with them? And I'll get an idea, and I'll just I have all these cute little notepads. I have tons of them. I've collected them for I don't know how long, but probably 4 or 5 years. Collected them, and I'm using them up slowly but surely. But when I go back I write notes. Like, I'll have a bunch of thoughts come, especially in the morning, come to me, and I'll write, do like little highlights, kind of like when you're doing an outline, Well, I don't make that many videos a day, or don't even put up that many. Like, I looked this morning, this month, because I just started putting up a few, I think 4 just in the past 2 or 3 days, maybe 4, I guess. But I've done 14 a month. Last month it was 11. The month before it was 7 videos the whole month made public. So yeah, I'm getting nowhere fast. I write a lot more notes than I make videos. But anyway, I want to get through some of these, and I think I'm going to do more videos like this, because just the other day I had a whole slew of thoughts. Yeah, so my videos might have more than one topic. Plus, just these little short videos, 4 minutes here, 5 minutes here. Sometimes I go up to 10, 15 minutes, maybe 20. But usually they're around 5 minutes. That's not cutting it. I have more thoughts than that. And I've said it before, and you know what happens after that? Something in my life will come up and I don't get to put videos up. But I'm going to try. Like I said, I'll probably make more like this where I do a combination. Maybe I'll go home and try to rewrite these a little bit. I have enough notepads and composition books. Yeah, I have a composition books in 3 stacks of these on notepad. Yeah, so I got a lot to get through. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. Okay, so if you want to subscribe to this channel and you haven't already, click the circle icon. If you want to watch another video, you can click one of the rectangles that pop up. Like, comment, and share if you want. And I'll talk to you on another video. I got distracted there. All right, I'll talk to you on another video.